right. Can't forget that recording. So welcome to May's member webinar. We switched this from a standard kind of stage on the stage webinar to more of a meeting style. So that way you could turn on your cameras, and we encourage you to unmute and engage in the conversation. So today we have our great speaker who is the Senior Director of Membership as well as DEI&B here at NACCE, Katie Gales. And we're hoping that through this session, you will walk away with some creative and effective ways to complement your existing course curriculum with entrepreneurship content. So Katie, with that, I will turn it over to you.
Thank you, Erica. And I'd love to end the session get some feedback from you guys on how this format works. Did you like being on camera and being able to just interact with material? Or would you rather go back to a more formal webinar type where you can put your, you don't have to interact, you can do everything in chat and not be on camera? So I'd love to get that feedback from you guys on this one. I'm going to share my screen now. Okay, can everybody see that?
Yes.
Wonderful. So today's session, as Erica mentioned, is about how to add entrepreneurship content to your existing curriculum. Until 90 days ago, I was an employee of a community college and ran the entrepreneurship program. And one of the things that excited me was the prospect of, I'm going to hack and cough a little bit. Yes.
Katie, I don't mean to interrupt you. I don't know if it was just for me. Does anyone else hear that audio weirdness? So kind of your audio was kind of fading out and then coming back in.
Okay.
Sounds
So
like you're in a bubble.
Yeah, if you click on the little arrow next to the microphone, and then I'll walk through this with you, click on audio settings. Underneath the microphone, there should be a little check mark that says automatically adjust microphone volume. See if that's checked or unchecked.
Okay.
I hadn't heard that from you before, so maybe being here. Yeah.
I just have the speakers checked. What do you want me to check?
So under microphone, it says automatically adjust microphone volume. Is that checked or unchecked?
I don't have that option under my microphone.
Did you open the audio settings?
Ah.
There you go.
Yes, it is checked.
So uncheck it.
Ah, okay.
And then the volume slider right above it will adjust your microphone. And you can even turn that up a little bit as well.
Okay. That's on the input volume?
Yes.
Okay, great. Is that better?
It should be better. Typically that adjust will compress it. So
thank you.
Let's start again, everybody.
I appreciate that. I learn a little bit every time I do one of these with Erica. I'm resharing my screen and starting with the slideshow from the beginning. There you go. Is this better?
I think so.
Okay, Richard, you kind of.
Yeah, it's. Do you maybe have headphones you could plug in? Let me try that.
I have used them.
Sorry, everybody.
That's okay.
But I want to make sure that y'all have the best experience.
Because we are on, oh shoot, they're broken. No, let me try it. It's cosmetic. Because we use the media format, not Does this make a difference?
I think so. And can you hear us?
I can.
Great. It's definitely a lot clearer.
Okay, wonderful.
Perfect. All right.
I'm feeling a little bit like I'm flying a plane too. It's kind of cool. Okay, starting again. So entrepreneurship for every student. I want to talk today about easy ways to make the education training and information available to every student. Richard, is this better for you?
Richard, is that better? Does her audio sound better?
A little bit, yeah.
Wonderful, thank you. So why are we doing this? To prepare students for the future. The society, the economy, the job market, everything has changed now. Studies show that wages for traditional jobs are lower, the benefits are fewer, layoffs are very common. So I think our students need to have that entrepreneurial spirit, know how to do a little something on the side for themselves that they can use to generate revenue. There's been a huge increase in self-employment too. There was a study, and the link is at the bottom of the charts there, that was published in Forbes. It says 30% of Americans, about 44 million people, were self-employed as of 2019. That number is probably going up. And 14% of those people were self-employed full time. And I think because of the pandemic, there's also an increased focus on quality of life as opposed to pure revenue. So studies show that people who are self-employed have the same amount of job satisfaction as people who have that secure income coming in. So they don't feel like they're sacrificing anything by maybe having a little bit less of a steady paycheck. So this is one of the reasons why I think it's important for us to get entrepreneurship information into the hands of all of our students. There are three dimensions of entrepreneurship that this is my opinion, so I'd love some discussion on this. First is the entrepreneurial mindset. As Mom would say, getting your mind right to be entrepreneurial. Then there's information on how to actually start a business. And then there's information on how to manage and grow a business. I think a lot of the traditional business courses in community colleges are aimed more at the manage and grow a business. So what I'd like to do today is focus on the first two, the entrepreneurial mindset and information on how to start a business. So what is the entrepreneurial mindset? It's a set of skills that enable people to identify and make the most of opportunities and to overcome and learn from setbacks and to succeed in a variety of settings. That sounds like life skills, doesn't it? Sounds like something everybody ought to be able to do. And that's why I'm really fond of the entrepreneurial mindset, because I think even if you're not starting a business, if you have an entrepreneurial mindset, you'll be more successful in whatever you attempt. So I see this entrepreneurial mindset almost like life skills, where if you have that mindset, when you get to that fork in the road where you're trying to decide, am I going to go get a job? Am I going to go start a business? Or am I going to do some hybrid of both? You'll be mentally better prepared for success. Now, if you were to go Google entrepreneurial mindset or entrepreneurial thinking, I'm telling you from personal experience, you'll get about 25 million hits. Everybody has an opinion on this. What I have learned from going through a couple of mindset trainings is that these are the 4 things that represent an entrepreneurial mindset. Creative problem solving. Some people call this a growth mindset. The whole idea of, hey, you are not a tree. If you don't like where you are, you can leave. Internal locus of control. Some people call that self-motivation. But understanding that you can take initiative, you can do something, and controlling the energy that you put forth in doing that. Some comfort with uncertainty. Knowing that not getting the entire path laid out before you take the first step. And a healthy relationship with failure. And I put failure in quotes because it's really all about resilience. If you redefine failure as just a learning experience and you're able to pick yourself up and try again, that's resilience. But if failure is such an awful thing that you spend your time and energy kicking yourself, then that's going to keep you from being able to get up And you definitely won't want to try it. And this is a muscle that we can learn, the whole resilience muscle. Didn't work this time, I learned from it. Now I'm going to take those lessons and go do something else. And studies show that the people who are successful at entrepreneurship, especially, have typically become an overnight success after 20 years or 20 years of trying. So you can see that they've had a lot of things you might call failures before they hit that one thing that made it for them. So developing that healthy relationship with failure. And I think as educators, part of our responsibility is make sure that we help young people maintain that healthy perspective and relationship with failure so they can develop their resilience muscle. And the ability to recognize an opportunity. And that opportunity can be an opportunity to start a business, an opportunity for a new job, an opportunity to improve your community, an opportunity to better yourself and to do anything. It's just opportunity. So from an entrepreneurial mindset perspective, there's a lot on the internet. What I am familiar with and has success in learning is something called the Entrepreneurial Learning Initiative. The Entrepreneurial Mindset is EliMindset.com. They have a whole curriculum. Who owns the Ice House book, which is part of that curriculum, that you can get and give it to your students as part of freshman orientation, or have the reading of the book part of an assignment. There's also some free work on the on Coursera, and I put that link there. There are a lot of resources. Some people want to roll their own. They want to look at some of those attributes and put together some material that they'll hand out to students. How to start a business? Oh my goodness, there's so much information out there. Almost all of you probably have an SBDC in your community that's funded by the SBA. Some communities have small business centers. And how to start a business information is really about what goes into that business plan. It's the table of contents. And if you can get some basic information to them on these 10 areas, then they have a foundation to move forward and have some understanding of how to start a business, actually start a business. Some resources for that is Kaufman, the Kaufman Foundation's Fast Track. This is probably the longest standing, most comprehensive, practically free resource. They charge, or at least they used to charge $200 per year to be an affiliate. And you could do as many classes and have as many students as you wanted in their curriculum online. And it was in 5 sections, and you teach them all together or one at a time. Very easy to use. The financials I thought were a little bit advanced. But what I would do is go through the first part, and then I would take the students offline and just use a cash flow worksheet for the financial piece. If you have a small business technology development center, some people call them small business development centers in your community, that's a terrific resource already funded by the SBA, by your tax dollars. And many of these people are looking for ways to get more involved in the community and reach more citizens. And this is a resource you can bring to bear for your institution as well and get them in front of your students. They have a curriculum for business startup that you can have access to and can typically get somebody to deliver it for you. And if you have a small business center that's maybe connected to your college, that's more local than the SBTDC, that's another resource. Are any of these resources familiar to any of you guys that are with us today? Rich, are you familiar with that? Anybody else? Okay, so let's talk about some approaches to get this content out to the students. I'm focusing on the entrepreneurial mindset and how to start a business components of entrepreneurial education. So one way that you can get some information into the hands of every student is to include entrepreneurial mindset training in your freshman orientation, or however you classify those basic courses that every freshman has to get, every first year student. The second is, I want to give you a little bit more information about creating a speakers bureau and infusing entrepreneurship in existing curriculum. But those are two that are easy to do and can have great impact. Creating a student entrepreneurship club takes a little bit more information and a little bit more effort. But I'd like to come back to you guys a little bit later this year and do a session specifically on how to create that student entrepreneurship club. It's hard to get students' attention to things that they're not getting academic credit for, especially our community college students, who most of them are already working. They may already have families, so they're already under a lot of pressure. So getting their attention for a club is a challenge that they're going to do. And the other thing you can do is create an entrepreneurship resource kit that connects them to all the external stuff in the community that's available to help. So it could be as simple as a fact sheet that has a link to your SBDC or SBTDC, a link to the SBA's free webinars, information about the local Chamber of Commerce, information about local business networking groups, those types of things. So it'll be a one-shooter that you get for that, and you can get this in the hands of every student. Feel free to stop me at any time, by the way, and ask questions about any of this. Let's talk specifically about how to create the Entrepreneurship Speakers Bureau. If you want to get something into the hands of every student, this is a great way to do it. And you can do it without adding more work for the instructors that are already probably at capacity as far as their effort is concerned. I would recommend selecting 3 to 4 topics that are going to be your standard topics. Topics like how to think like an entrepreneur. This is just another phrase for entrepreneurial mindset. How to write a business plan, and a session on local resource for entrepreneurs. I found that some instructors will give you 45 minutes of class time once a semester to come in and talk to their students. Some of them may have you come in and deliver all 3 of these sessions at different points in time for their students. You can create PowerPoint charts that you can use for each of these sessions. You probably need about 15 pages because you're going to talk a minute to 3 minutes per page. And then I recommend assembling a stable of volunteers. The Rotary clubs and chambers of commerce, they all have business owners that are looking for ways to give back. I would give them that opportunity to come in and deliver these sessions to your students. And if you have a set of PowerPoint charts that you can give to them to use, then of course they're going to personalize it a little bit and put their own spin on it. But at least by providing the source documents for them to use to speak from, you're ensuring some type of consistency in the content.
Katie, would you add to that list SCORE?
Get SCORE.
We partnered with them and brought them right on campus, so they had a physical presence. And so when they finished our portion at the 2-year college, we moved them right to SCORE and found a much more successful completion rate.
Wonderful. Did you let SCORE come in and speak to the students as well in the classroom?
Yes, and with them being on campus, they would get a room for a community seminar free. I mean, they didn't have to pay for rental. So that was a win-win situation. They actually paid us rent too. So that went right into my budget at the Business Enterprise Center.
You got them to pay you to work for you? How great is that?
It was super.
I might have to add that to my charts eventually. So for anybody who's not aware of SCORE, it is a group of volunteers, typically experienced business people, sometimes retirees, but not always, who want to give back by helping small businesses either get started or grow. And it's another program from the SBA. And if you go to the SBA website, you can probably find the SCORE chapter that's closest to you. And even if their office is not physically close to you, they typically have people located in and around other communities. I know in our area here in the Triangle area of North Carolina, we probably have about 100 SCORE volunteers scattered around across several counties. So thank you, Richard, for that contribution. Great resource. You might want to create a request form for the instructors to use so that they can request a guest lecture for their classroom. If you do it by email, you might get flooded with emails. Then people are constantly changing things. So I suggest some type of request form with some required lead time so that you don't get somebody asking you on Monday for a guest lecture on Wednesday. You just scramble and you try to find somebody who can come in at that time. I used to request a 4-week lead time. And the instructors have their curriculum laid out for the semester. They can do this. And also it required that the instructor remain in the class while the speaker is there. That helps stabilize the class. And also when you pass out your feedback sessions, the instructor can make sure that the students were able to complete the survey. Now, if you're really fancy, you can get one of those smartphone-based survey apps and have the students do that. But yeah, once you get your request from the instructors, you can match that request with the availability of your volunteers. So remember that Rotary is a great resource, Chamber of Commerce, SCORE. You may even have people on your board of trustees, on your foundation board, and others connected to the college that we willing to come in and volunteer and deliver those sessions as well. Any questions about or other contributions about the Entrepreneurship Speakers Bureau? Richard, you need to come off mute. There you go.
We also have an Allentown Economic Development Committee, which runs a lot of the business. It actually runs one of the incubators, a very large incubator for business startups. And then the larger organization is the Lehigh Valley Economic Development Group. So they kind of foster and sponsor every year a business pitch. So, and there's a sizable financial incentive to do that. So we're fortunate enough to have Ben Franklin right in our community, which fosters new business startups as well.
Wonderful. So do you give all of those people the opportunity to come in and talk to the students in the classroom?
I do, yes.
How do you match the speaker with the classroom right now? Do they all come through you, or have you created a form or request form or something?
Well, it's been a little hazy with COVID, so we've been doing a lot of Zoom. But I would like to get back to, bring them to campus, buy them lunch, and then have them do the spiel. And if I can, get some of my colleagues together around the same time, they might be able to do 2 or 3 classes at the same time.
Oh, so you bring the students together into an auditorium?
Yes.
Okay, that's very cool. One of the things that I found worked for me, it allowed me to dig a little bit deeper into the student population, is to actually go speak per classroom, because that way the schedule is a lot easier. The instructors didn't have to do anything different. The students didn't have to do anything different. And with Zoom, it got even easier. I just had to find somebody who was available at that time.
Yeah.
Cool. So let's talk about what I call the Entrepreneurship Infusion program. I called it this because when I was teaching entrepreneurship as an adjunct, I noticed that everybody in my class just about was a business major. And I started wondering, where are the other students? Where are the students who are in the culinary program or in the plumbing program? Or what about the graphic design or the game development program? What about the barber school? What about all of those students that we know for a fact are going to go out and start a business pretty much within a couple of years? They were not in my class because taking the entrepreneurship course required 4 business prereqs. And the only people who could afford to stay for an additional semester or year to get those prereqs were my guys who were on their VA benefits, because everything was paid for. So I started thinking, how can I reach those students without costing them any money and without creating a burden for the instructor? So First thing I did was identified some local entrepreneurs and consultants to work with me on this project. Some of them were willing to volunteer and do this and work for free. Some were not. Some I eventually had to pay. But we started with the pilot in one department because you need somebody, you need some references out there. You need somebody saying, oh, this was wonderful for my students. And then it starts spreading like crabgrass. And what I asked them is, how much slack do you have in your curriculum for the semester? I mean, do you have 3 hours? Do you have 6 hours of flexibility in your curriculum? And I got different answers from different people. Some people said, I only have an hour. Speakers Bureau. Somebody said, I only have maybe 3 hours. Speakers Bureau. But when they got past that, it was okay, great. Maybe we can put together a curriculum to work with your students. Just what's the schedule? And for the entrepreneurship program, I tried to get something close to the end of whatever the class was, so they still remember it when they left. And at first I tried to get these students to log into some new online something. Since they're already into Blackboard or Moodle, it was a burden for them. So what the teaching material we used was just a set of PowerPoint charts and worksheets. It's very simple for them. I understand now that they're beginning to use more apps for this because everybody has a tablet and a smartphone. But we schedule the class sessions and deliver the content and then just gather feedback and critiques from the students on how it went. And one of the things they always left with, or that was part of their last session, was what are the other resources around, either through the college or through the community, that can help you if you decided to start a business. And that went over very well. But sometimes this infusion was just an appetizer. You just whet their appetite for more business content. There was a little bit of noise here. Can you guys hear any of the background noise? No? Okay, good. So here's a sample curriculum. This was 5 90-minute sessions, and we delivered one session a week. And this went into the Natural Hair Practitioner Program. So every Thursday, from 9 till 10:30 for 5 weeks, like the last 5 weeks of their program, we would come in and we would deliver this content. Started to see that what we did in classroom, they had a homework assignment and a due date. The homework was always due 2 days before the next class session. And the homework, they were allowed to just email the homework in. We tried to make this as simple as possible for them. So you see, we did some assessments at the beginning, worked on their personal vision statement, their business vision mission statement, make sure their business that they want to start running would jive with how they wanted to live their lives. And then the next time we would talk about what's different about you, who you're going to sell to, who you have to convince people not to buy something they're about to do, and how you reach. And then the next session was, okay, what's your sales plan? What do you have, or what are you going to create that you can protect that is yours from an intellectual property perspective? And then in the fourth session, we would get into cash flow statements and tax write-offs, standard tax write-offs. Now you know that this is not really a deep dive because some people take a whole semester, weeks to cover these. But what you do is you create content that will fit into the amount of time that you have in that course, because you're never going to be able to give them a deep dive into everything because you're trying to fit into something that already exists. What you want to do is an appetizer to drive them to more information. So the last session was talking about the homework and then talking about all the resources that are available to them if they want to go further. So this, I've developed 6-hour sessions, 6 90-minute sessions. I've developed 6 1-hour sessions. I've developed 10 2-hour sessions. You just make it very elastic so you can fit into the amount of time that you start the class. And so once the word starts spreading, one of your big challenges is probably going to be that more people will want what you're offering because it's so easy for the instructor to incorporate it. It doesn't require any extra work from them or the department head. They just got to make the students available. Any questions about the Infusion program? Do you see how this might work or not work on your campus?
I would add to that list nursing, because many of the nurses, as they graduate, can go into a business such as taking vital signs for insurance companies. So if they're thinking about along the entrepreneurial lines, they can be very creative in setting that up, but there is a need for independent practitioners to work. And you know, the only problem with nursing is they will tell you when you go back and you said, you know, do you have any extra time in your curriculum? They'll tell you that they're already hours and hours over the limit. You just have to be very persevering and you know, sometimes even market them on the outside of the curriculum or outside of their program.
Yeah. So yeah, if you can spread the word about among inside your school about all the outside resources, that's always beneficial. Maybe there's a campus newsletter. The way that I approached the Infusion program is I would get a couple of successes and then we brag about them in the campus newsletter. And other people who were willing and ready would raise their hands. And that was one way of making sure that it didn't outpace my ability to serve them. That I was getting maybe one or two additional programs coming in each year saying, I want this. And that was okay with me because I wanted to make sure that whenever we did this, that they had a good experience and they remained a reference. So what's next? If you're a NACCE member, then you can schedule a one-on-one strategy session or coaching session about how to do this or how NACCE resource can be leveraged to do this in your campus. If you're not a NACCE member, of course, we want you to join. But as director of membership here at NACCE, I'm here to serve the members. And we like the one-on-one opportunities to learn more about what you're doing at your school and how we can specifically help you. And also making sure that you're leveraging all the resources that we have. A NACCE member, if you're a college, you got 11 slots on your membership account. So there are some really creative ways you can use those 11 slots to bring resources into the college. They don't all have to be college employees. It could be somebody from your Chamber of Commerce. It could be a local business consultant that wants to give back. Put them on your NACCE account and make them an entrepreneur in residence. So there's some creative ways to do that. We'd love to share that with you. If you want to join NACCE, please contact Trish and she'll walk you through the process. Any questions about this making entrepreneurship available to all students?
The only caution I would have is make sure that upper administration is in very much support of you know, your plans, even as an individual faculty member. When my dean got behind me, things grew, you know, astronomically fast. But before that, it was just like pushing my head against a rock.
Why did you get your dean behind you?
Well, he did have a business background. I had a plan that I could lay out in front of him that he really liked, and he became very supportive of the things we broke it into three areas: the academic area, the business enterprise center, and then we had a student club. And he was there all the time, very, very excited about that. And he even helped me obtain Perkins money to fund some of our project. I brought Gary Gary from ELI and then I had an opportunity to meet you know, the gentleman that the book is about. So it was some great opportunities. Yeah.
Wonderful. So, you got your dean behind you, and the dean helped you promote it with in all areas of the college, both credit and non-credit.
Yes, but you know, it was, even though he was behind me, they still had their own agenda, and many times I didn't get the growth that I wanted. We had a very steady growth in business, and we had some fringe programs as well. We went to the NACCE National Convention, presented, I think all told, about 7 times on the way that we had built our business enterprise center. And even went to Springfield, is it? Massachusetts, where NACCE's home is. And I did well, at one point, NACCE was going to try to have, you know, members reaching out to schools to encourage their membership, and that didn't work out too well. But anyhow, I had an opportunity to go to NACCE headquarters.
So I mentioned that last year I was working for a community college, and NACCE, I went to the NACCE conference too, and got some great resources. In fact, my second NACCE conference, I got to compete in a pitch competition. The pitch for the trades, the applications are open now, by the way. That was in the newsletter that you guys received on yesterday. I pitched because I was trying to grow my program, but I didn't have enough money. My money was being used for a community-based program. And I didn't have enough funds to do things inside the college. So I picked to the trades for professional services, which is a barber school, cosmetology, and I wanted some money that I could use to do the pilots in those departments and to set up an annual barber and cosmetology business summit to fund that. And that money allowed me to prove to administration that these things were worthwhile. I used the funds to fund that summit, but also to pay outside consultants to come in and teach the curriculum, because I didn't have the bandwidth to teach all of them. We were doing 10 sessions, 8 sessions a year. Daytime barber school, evening barber school. Daytime and evening cosmetology, Spanish language cosmetology, and that really helped a whole lot to be able to have access to that money. Because once we proved it, the benefit, then my superiors were highly motivated to find the budget inside the college to find it. So, any questions or comments? Rich, Sophia, Gare, did I pronounce that correctly? You guys still there? There you go.
No questions, but thank you. Thank you for your time.
You're welcome. If you're interested, we can certainly email you the charts afterwards. You'll have access to them. And of course, if you have any questions about any of this, you want us to have a one-on-one to talk about how we can do something like this in your school, let me know. Before we go, could I have everybody just tell us, just introduce yourself so everybody else knows who they've been in the meeting with. We'll start with you, Richard. Which school are you from?
I come from Lehigh Carbon Community College, which is in Schnecksville, Pennsylvania, north of Allentown, part of Lehigh Valley. We're about 2 hours out of New York, 50 miles north of Philadelphia. And I'm currently finishing up my end of my full-time statuses and already scheduled for the fall for part-time, and a little bit embarrassed looking at our membership on the NACCE. My dean, who has been gone for almost 5 to 7 years, is still listed as part of that membership. So I have some cleaning up to do. The person that's in charge of the business center hasn't got the appreciation of the valuable resources you can get from NACCE. So I'm trying to spear that back. That's why I'm here, to try to get it back.
One of the things that my team and I will do is we will pull the people together. Sorry, the light goes off automatically. If you pull the people together, we will have a strategy session with you and your team to talk about NACCE benefits and how they can use it.
Yeah, I'll work on, well, with Trish at least to get the listings on the computer correctly, and I'll encourage her to get a hold of you when I'm ready.
Wonderful. Thank you. Sophia.
Hi, I'm Sophia Abreu. I'm the Career Services Manager at Rowan College at Burlington County. We're in Mount Laurel, New Jersey. And this is my first, I was introduced to the organization a few days ago. So I quickly just signed up for everything, and I'm excited to learn more and to see how we can utilize the services.
Wonderful.
Thank
Thank
you.
you for so quickly. We will serve you. Just let us know what we can do. Rich, if you're still with us. And I think the other person we have is Gear. I hope I pronounced that correctly. Clark. Okay, so we have two shy people, but thank you for participating. I hope you got something out of this. We'll ship out the charts to you and let us know how we can continue to serve you here at NACCE.
Very good. Thank you.
Bye.